We'll just start up here in front. It does have a hookup light for hooking up at nighttime. A little switch underneath that turns it on and off. We have one 12-volt battery in the battery box. We do have the inverter hooked up to it too. It is prepped for a second battery if you want to add a second battery to it. We do have our spare tire up in the front. Spare tire's been air pressure, which is 80 pounds on the side of the tire cold. It's always recommended on the side. It has a 50 amp service cord that's 45 foot long. We also have a brawl for the front three windows, that goes up on the front. All the rest of them is just your fuses for your landing gear jacks, stuff like that. There is a manual way that you can crank the motor. If for any reason it won't work on its own, it does have a manual crank. I think it's on both, one on each side. We'll have to look at it when we get to the gas part. But it also has a metal bottom in it, so you can put heavier things inside of it. It does have a 7-way on the side of the tongue of the trailer to hold the 7-way up off the ground, keep it from getting corroded. As we come over to the off-door side, it has two toggle switch landing gear controls. One switch controls one side of the landing gear, the other one does the other side. Or you can run them both at the same time. All you have to do is just make sure you push them both at the same time, or retract them both at the same time, either way you want to go with it. We're going to come over to the off-door side. First compartment up is the propane. Excuse me. It does have two 30-pound cylinders on it. Has a propane regulator on this side over here. Shows you green inside the eye that it's pointed towards the gas bottle on the door side of the unit. When it's working off of it, as soon as that tank would happen to come up empty, it's going to turn red inside the eye, indicating that the bottle it's pointed to is empty. If you have both cylinders already open, it'll automatically pick up from the one on this side here, so that you don't lose your gas service in the middle of the night. But it's still going to show you red inside the eye that the one it's pointed to is empty, and it's having to work off this one here. Then all you have to do is switch your regulator over to this tank, work off of it while you take the tank on the other side off to town and have it refilled. Then our water compartment is next. In the water compartment, there is a canister for a filter. There's a wrench to take the canister on and off. There's a cap for the sewer hose. Close it off. It does have a motion sensor light inside it, so anytime you open this compartment up, it's going to have lights. Your top one is your black tank flush 1, which is the bathroom off of the master bedroom. The black tank flush 2 is the one for the main bathroom. You have a city water fill right down below that on the left hand side that you can hook to with a water hose and regulator and never have to fill the fresh tank on it. Work right off the water pressure going to the city water connect. Or you have a fresh tank fill over on this side here that you can turn the valve on the back of the freshwater tank to hold water in it, turn water pressure onto it with a water hose and regulator, and it will fill the tank. Once I start filling the freshwater tank, I usually go to the inside to the monitor panel. I'll push the button for the fresh tank and watch it fill up 1/3, 2/3 full. Once it hits full, I come out and I turn the water pressure off going to that connection. It does have an outside shower that gives you hot and cold running water on the side of the unit on this side over here. Just goes, a quick connect goes in, makes a quarter of a turn. It also has a bypass winterized hose on it that you can stick down in an antifreeze jug. Leave it in the winterizing position. Once you go in and turn the pump on, it will suck from the antifreeze jug through the whole system of the unit, filling the canister first. So you always want to make sure you take your filter out before you fill your canister. Over on our satellite prep. Satellite prep's in 3 places. It should be in the master bedroom, in the living room, and in the loft in the very back of the unit. It also has a cable hookup that you can hook up to park cable or a cable that you have at home. And you'll have the same cable on your TVs on the inside as you do at the home or at the park that you're at. We got 2 black tank valves. Black tank 1 is for the bathroom off the master bedroom. Gray tank 1 is off the sink in the master bedroom. We have black tank 2, which is off the main bathroom on the inside. Gray tank 2 is going to be your kitchen sink water, And your gray tank one's going to be your bathroom sink in the master bathroom and in the bathroom, and shower water in the main bathroom. There is a little connection here at the bottom that you can bring your water hoses and cable connections up through the bottom of the unit so that you can leave the big door shut. All the tanks have been filled with water and drained out, so we're going to sneak right past that. It does have a Suburban on-demand water heater. It has an on and off switch in the right hand corner on the outside that has to be in the, you have to have it in the I position for it to send signal to the digital remote on the inside. A lot of times when you turn it on, first thing it's going to do is going to try to heat up a little bit because it is an on-demand water heater. So I'm going to go ahead and push the button real quick. Here in just a second, it's going to kick on. It's going to run for just a minute. It's going to make a little hissing sound like it's heating up the antifreeze that's on the inside of it. Then it should shut right back off. There it goes. It kicks right back off. It just heats the outside of the tank up. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that back to the off position. But for that Suburban on-demand water heater to work properly, that switch has to be in the I position, which is an on position for the Suburban hot water heater. And it'll have another control on the inside that is a digital readout. It shows you the water coming out of the sprinkler head. It shows you a fan, shows you that it's circulating on the inside. And on the right hand side, it'll have a little flame indicating that it did light. And right above it, it'll have a digital readout what the temperature of the water is coming from the faucets. So we're going to slide right on past that. This is your termination valve for all 4 tanks. And then we have our 2 low water drain points just behind it, up underneath the radius metal on the side. It has a 50 amp cord that goes on, makes a quarter of a turn, tightens up. The cable's 45 foot long. We also have an external vent for the main bathroom on the inside. I'll have to show you the rest of it on the inside when we get to the inside. But it does have a vent that will pull the moisture from the main bathroom to the outside of the unit. Here again, all of our loading that's on the trailer has been torqued to 100 foot-pounds. That's what's recommended on the side. All the tires are aired up to pressure, which is 80 pounds on the side of the tires cold. Cold means they haven't been rotating. Then we have our fresh tank drain. It's kind of right here behind the rear axle on this side over here. It is a little white line hanging down with a plastic fitting on the end of it. That is a T-valve. It is turned in line with the hose coming out and will drain the fresh tank. Before you fill the fresh tank, you're going to have to turn that little T-handle sideways, which allows it to capture the water that you're putting in from the water fill station into the fresh tank. The next one has a little hole here on the side in the radius metal. For any reason, the slide room won't go in or out on its own. There is a manual slotted handle up in the front compartment that goes in that little hole and will manually crank the opposite room on the opposite side in or out. For any reason, it won't work on its own. Before we go too far away, it does have a range vent hood on the outside that has 2 little tabs on the side of it that have to be lifted up, allows that flapper to flap so that you can pull smoke from the inside to the out. But when you're in travel, you'll want to push those back down into place to secure it to itself. That way it doesn't sit there and flap till it breaks itself out. All the 5 of the slide rooms on the unit do have slide toppers up on top to keep snow from getting on top of them. It does have 2 stabilizer jacks on each corner in the back. That stabilizes the rear of the trailer while you're walking through the center of it. It won't level the trailer from side to side. It just stabilizes it while you walk through the center of the trailer. Here in the very back, it is prepped for a backup camera up top. As we come around to this side here, here's our second stabilizer jack for the rear of the unit. On this side of the slide room here, there's another hole in the radius metal that goes in and will manually crank the rooms on the opposite side of the trailer in or out. For any reason they won't work off the switch, there is a manual way that you can crank them in or out. Third hole in the radius metal does your kitchen slide on the opposite side of the trailer in or out. For any reason it won't move on its own off the switches. There is a manual way to crank that third room in or out for either way you need to go with it. While we're on this side, we have the 2 JBL speakers on the outside of the unit. We have our steps that clip into place on the brackets mounted to the side, center of the center door. A little grab handle that comes down Hooks into that connection there, gives you a little handle to walk up and down. Our first vent on the side over here is for the dryer vent. For any reason that you're using the dryer on the inside, this will vent out through the bottom down here. There is a park cable hookup on this side of the unit and a 110 plug-in to plug it into. So that if you wanted to put the ball game on your TV out here underneath the canopy, you can watch the ball game out here, listen to it on the stereo, either way you wanted to do it. It does have a quick disconnect line underneath the compartment here. So you get a quick connect for your propane tanks on the unit. Does have a T-handle up on top of it. Has to be turned in line with the gas line coming out to your appliance. And it will work off the two 30-pound propane cylinders that's on the unit. We're gonna open this door up here. All the doors have magnets to hold them up out of the way. But it gives you two little refrigerators out here on this side out here. One opens to the left, one opens to the right. These two refrigerators have to be hooked up to the 110 line for these to get cold out here on the outside. They're not gas or electric, they're electric only. But it does give you quite a bit of little cool storage on the outside for your beverages. Sodas for the kids, keep the kids from going in and outside the front door all the time. Next connection up is the outside of the furnace. The outside of the furnace sucks cold air in the front, hot air out the back. It's pretty hot, kind of sends your hands when you put it up against there. I always suggest putting a mud dauber screen over the outside of the furnace for the simple fact. The mud dauber screen is less than 20 bucks. It's $155 an hour for every hour that I have to take the furnace out to clean the mud daubers out of. So that little $20 investment's worth its weight in gold if you ask me. We're gonna come up to the front compartment on this side over here. I don't know if the door's locked or if it's just broke, so we're gonna take my master key out.
It's a little chilly out today.
It is a little chilly out today. Put my key in.
As indicated by the snow.
Nope, it's not going to let me use my master key. Yes, it is. But it does have a sliding tray on this side over here. It has your slotted brass handle mounted to the wall for your 3 slide rooms. Well, if they won't go in or out, there's a manual crank handle for that. We also have the 3/4 inch handle that's for the balance jacks in the back. Now remember, the balance jacks won't level the trailer from side to side. They just stabilize it while you're walking through the center of the trailer. Then we got a little blue handle on the left-hand side of the compartment tray. Stack a lot of little stuff here towards the back. Slides out. Gives you quite a bit of storage room on it. Slides back in, locks back in place. But it also has our inverter mounted in the middle of the compartment over here. You see the green light indicates that it is working. We also have a digital solar panel readout right down above it, and a battery disconnect right down below it. So while you're using the unit and you're not going to be using it for a while, you can turn that battery disconnect to the off position, and it will save all the 12-volt charge that's in the batteries on the front of the unit. Also has a beverage opener on this side over here. And then we're coming to our second propane cylinder that's working off the gas auto changeover regulator on the opposite side of the unit. It does have a little red regulator on this side here. It's not an auto changeover. It just cuts the pressure down coming from the bottle to the main regulator on the opposite side of the unit. All the rooms do have slide toppers above them. So we're gonna go back to the front door and we're gonna go up the steps, open the sliding door, take all the snow off. Does have a screen door on the front of the unit so that if you want to leave the main door open, just leave the screen door shut, keep bugs from coming in the inside. And we're gonna go ahead and go to the inside of the unit. It's a lot warmer in here.
Oh.
So we're going to come up to the monitor panel first. We're going to look at the very tip top of it. It does have a toggle switch light on the side here that turns all the center rows of lights in the kitchen area on. They are on a dimmer switch. You can pull the dimmer switch down, kind of Set the mood for the kitchen area. Crank it back up. For that Suburban on-demand water heater to work on the outside of the unit, it has to be in the I position on the outside. It has an on and off button here that turns it on and off. We got our Celsius and Fahrenheit button right down below it. We got 2 arrows up and down to run the temperature of the water up or down, either way we wanted to go with it. It's going to tell the temperature of the water in the upper right hand corner. When it is in operation, it will be lit up. It will have a little water fountain on the left hand side, squirting water down, showing that it's got water coming through the hot side of the faucets. In the center, it will have a little fan doing a little circle deal, showing you that it does have water circulating through the hot water heater. And here on the right hand side, it'll have a little flame showing you that it did light on gas. But it has to have all 3 of those on at the same time. And then you can watch your digital temperature change up here at the top, come up to whatever you have it set to. It'll go anywhere from, I think, from 59 to 122. We're going to come down to the monitor panel. Shows you the fresh tank is empty. As we fill it up, I come in here and watch it fill 1/3, 2/3 full. We're going to go to the battery next. Shows you the battery's fully charged. To get an accurate reading on the battery, you really need to have the 110 line unplugged and then just check the battery to see exactly how much charge is in it. We have black tank 1, which is the bathroom in the master bedroom. As you see, it's empty. As we filled it up, we went 1/3, 2/3 full. Once it hits full, we shut the water pressure off going to that toilet. Same way with black tank 2, which is your master bathroom here in the back. Gray tank 1 is your bathroom sink in the master bathroom up front. And gray tank 2 is your kitchen sink water at the kitchen in here. And in the main bathroom, it does have a shower and a sink in it that will be going to your gray tank 1, which is your main gray tank for the unit. Anytime you push the button, they'll show empty. They fill up 1/3, 2/3 full. Right down below that, doesn't have a second awning, so it does have a blank spot. But we do have a spot here to turn the water pump on. When the water pump is in the on position, it'll illuminate red just like the tank heaters does. The tank heaters underneath the unit, since they've had water in it, I've left them on overnight to kind of dry up the rest of the water and antifreeze that's in the bottom of the tanks. Then we're going to come up to our light switches. Our very first light switch here turns the illuminated lights above the kitchen slide on. The second one turns the 2 round island lights above the island in the center of the unit. And then our third one here turns our 2 scare lights on the very front of the unit on. I call them scare lights. They are just like a outside light. There's one on either corner in the outside. I'm going to leave them on. Once we get to the bedroom, I'll show you where they're at up at the front. We do have an awning switch for running the awning in or out, so we're going to go ahead and run it out. We'll run it out as far as we can get with the trailer that's slid up along the side of us here. But I think we can almost get it all the way out. I'm going to stop it right about there. I don't want to hit the trailer on the other side of it. But each one of the arms does have a pinch point at the very bottom that you can pull down on. And it will put the pitch of the rain coming to the back side of the unit or to the front side of the unit. So that if you want to leave it out while it's kind of drizzling the rain, you can leave it out, but pull one of those arms down so that it puts the pitch of the rain going off the back or the front of the unit, either way you wanted to do it. But when you get ready to roll the awning back up, you'll want to push that bottom arm back up straight so it's in line with itself, so that when the awning rolls up, it lays back into the cradle properly. And it does have a set of awning lights out there up underneath it, up against the trailer. Nice little decorative lighting. So I'm going to come back over here. On our slide rooms, the very first slide room is the door side slide where the couch is at. The second slide room switch is where the fireplace is at. And the third one that's in the living room is the kitchen slide right here beside us that goes in and out. It's going to have 2 more slide room switches, but they're up in the main part of the master bedroom, so we're going to wait on those. Does have a light here that turns the light above the countertop on. We have a flip switch right down below it that turns the ceiling fan on above us. And you could turn that light on or off either way you wanted to do it. And just use the fan if you wanted to. Or you could just turn the light on and not use the fan by the pulling of the chains. And the fan has 3 speeds on it, so if you're doing the fan, you're going to have to make sure that you go past the 3rd setting to the off position. It also has a 110 outlet and a USB port at the countertop there. We also have our breaker box with all of our breakers showing exactly what they are from the left hand side up to the right. All the car fuses on the right hand side of that from the top to the bottom. Gives you 2 open spots at the top, but it does have a little red switch off to the right hand side of those 12-volt fuses. Anytime one of those fuses will blow, it'll have a little red light off to the right hand side of it. Does have a working smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector in the unit. So we're going to come back this way as soon as that quits. Here again, we're going to come up to the thermostat. There are all Coleman Mac thermostats. They're pretty easy to work. They have an on and off button. Hit that button the second time, it's telling you what your appliance is on. It is on the heat side of it. Hit that button one more time. You can dial your temperature that you want it set to on the right hand side. It will bring it up, the room temperature up to whatever you got it set to. We can go back to turning it off. All you have to do is hit it in the center, run it back to the cool, back to the off. Hit that button again so it shuts the appliance off. It comes to the fan setting and shows it's off. Hit it again and it's off back there again. They are all controlling their individual ACs in the unit. There's 3. There's one in the back loft, there's one in the living room, kitchen area here, and there's one in the master bedroom. But they're pretty simple. We're going to go to this very bottom one, which should be the one dead center of the kitchen area. We're going to turn it on. We're going to go over to the cool side of it. We're going to hit the button in the center. We're going to look for auto and high. We'll turn it on. We got it set down to 33 degrees. Excuse me, I told you wrong. That is the air conditioner in the very back loft, the children's loft. So here again, we're going to turn it back on. We're going to go to the cooling side of it. We're going to drop it down to where it says off. We're going to hit there, come back to the fan speed, and we're going to hit it, which should turn it off. The one that controls the furnace is the one that does the air conditioner in the kitchen living room area. So we're going to turn it to cool. We're going to go back to the fan settings, which we want high and auto. We're going to kick it on. It should be set to 33 degrees too. And it is the one in the living room kitchen area. We got one more of these Coleman Mach thermostats. It's going to be in the master bedroom. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this back off. We really don't need that air conditioner today. So we're going to come back to the controls. Not today. We're going to go back to where it says off. We're going to push it for the off. It's going to bring you to your fan speed. We're going to hit for off. Here in just a minute, the air conditioner kicks off on its own. Sometimes it takes it a minute before it kicks off. It will sling the water off the coils up on top, which will give you a rush of water to one of the 4 corners, usually in the back on these 2 back here. It gives you a little rush of water coming off before it shuts itself off. So we're going to walk this way down the aisle towards the living room kitchen area. It's got 2 light switches for the living room area. You got your main toggle switch up at the top that turns the center row lights in the living and kitchen area on. They are on a dimmer switch, so you can dim them out if you wanted to dim them out or run them back up bright. But it has another little light switch right down below it that turns the lights above the couch on. It does have a fire escape window because the bed can be used as a couched or bedded area. We'll have a fire escape window in right behind it. It says it's marked as exit. It should have a red handle on it. Pull the red handle over, slide it all the way over to the left. Gives you the whole window on the right hand side to get out of. All the windows in the unit have the blackout shades on it that you pull down. The ones for the fire escape window come in from the sides, and the one in the very back comes from the top down. It does have a coffee table that'll come over and sit in this area right here between the couches on each side. We do have another exit window in the very back of the unit for just in case. We also have a 110 outlet off to the right hand side of it and a USB port. And a little table down below that. It's kind of covering your JBL bass speaker. Kind of hides and protects it from stuff falling on it. If we go up into the loft, at the very top of the loft steps on the right hand side, there is a little toggle switch that turns the lights on in the lofted area. We have a little 2 cabinet shelf in there for hanging clothes. We have 2 little woven baskets off to the left-hand side of that. Right to the left of that, there is a plug-in for a TV that works off the antenna on top of the trailer or the park cable hookup. And we have the 2 little mattresses up there, so you can separate 2 kids out on them. And there is another fire escape window at the top loft right behind us here on the outside wall. It does have a little red handle that lifts up, goes all the way through the bottom of the window itself, and gives you an access point to get out there too.
You'll want to go out feet first.
Yes, you'll want to go out feet first.
It's a little high.
But it will keep the kids from sneaking out too. That's a pretty far drop from the window down to the concrete.
Yeah, you'd have to be brave to sneak out from there.
And I did learn a secret with the spiral steps. If you step with your left foot first, you're stepping on a bigger piece of the platform.
That is correct. We'll see if I can make it down.
I've tripped down them twice already.
Going up's cool.
Yeah, going to school, coming down ain't. Here again, we got 2 remote controls for the entertainment center in the living room. We have one for the fireplace that turns it on and off. We can run it on Celsius or Fahrenheit, either way we want it to go. You can change the colors of the flames, and you can also run the temperature up or down, either way you want to go with the temperature. And it has a 1 to 9 hour clock on it that you can turn it for like 9 hours, and the fireplace will automatically shut off at the end of the timer so that you don't have to worry about falling asleep and leaving the fireplace on. I leave the fireplace on anytime I'm in it. Here it's been pretty cold here the last couple of days. We do have the second bigger remote that is for the stereo or the TV. So we're going to turn it on. When I did the auto scan on the TV, working off the antenna up on top of the unit and the power booster in behind the TV channel's got 42 channels. The one in the living room kitchen area and in one in the master bedroom. There's a plug-in on each one of the lofts that you can put a shop TV into. Same way there, it gets 42 channels on the TVs, and there is a connection on the outside of the unit. So there is actually 5 places that TVs will hook up inside the unit. But that TV station's almost 80 miles away from here. That's working off the booster in behind the TV and the antenna on top of the unit. So that's not too bad for that. On the JBL speakers, it has an on and off button down here at the bottom that turns it on. You got to kind of stand by and wait for a minute. I got it tuned to the country and western station in Farmington, but we have our A is our best speaker that's over in this corner here. So we'll turn that back up. You can get it to where it thumps pretty good, so I'm gonna turn it right back off. We have B, which is in the living room, kitchen area. And we also have C.
The way she lived, the way leaving all the way down. It might take all night.
Turn that back down. But you can go to select your radio station using your 2 doubled arrows on this side over here to run your stations up or down. The plus and minus is the volume side of it. Anytime the stereo's working, you have it all lit up. So I'm gonna turn it back off. It's kind of hard for me to talk over it sometimes, and I get in trouble for playing it sometimes, but that's just me.
It's all good.
It does have the JBL speaker, or remote control speaker, that you can change all them settings with this remote here. It should have been over here, sit on the other table.
You got a copy, Timmy?
We're going to come over into the dining area. It does have a light switch on the right hand side of the wall that turns the 2 lights above the stove on. We have a pop-up 110 plug-in on the side over here that we can plug 2 appliances into off of it. And we have another 110 outlet on the right hand side that we can plug an appliance into it too. We got pretty good sized cabinet space up above us. Have my little snacks, goodies in there. They are the slow closing cabinets. So if you pull them about halfway back shut, they automatically close on their own. It does have a Furrion convection oven up in the top. Pretty nice for warming your coffee and your lunch up in it. We're going to come back down to the stove top. It has a fan and a light, so we're going to turn the light switch on the right hand side of the burners on. We're going to turn it up. They've all got their all independent igniters on the burners. You have to let the burners run for just a little bit, which heats the thermocoupler up right beside the flame. So they'll show you all 4 of the burners up on top light. I'm gonna go ahead and crank him back down. I'm gonna open up the bottom of the oven. Now in the oven is the same way. You're gonna turn it to where it says minute on button, hold down on the round button. It does have an igniter in the very bottom of the pan that lights. Once it's lit, we're gonna dial it up to the temperature we want it to come up to.
It is a convection oven.
Yes, it's heated, fanned.
Fanned and fancy.
Here again, I don't think I let it light the pilot. It's kind of hard to look down inside the holes there to see the flames in it. Still don't think it lit. Hold on, let me do it one more time. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to light the pilot in the oven.
I had it, and then now I don't.
So let's stop, turn it up. There we go.
There it is.
Then you'll dial it up to the temperature you want the oven to come to. Has a little fan button on the left-hand side that turns the little fan on in the back. But you'll dial it up to the temperature you want it to come to. We're going to go ahead and shut it back off. We're going to turn the fan off on it. We're going to turn the illuminated lights on the handles on. It's got 3 drawers on the left-hand side. The most important piece of paper in the unit is the appliance information sheet. It tells you the model and serial numbers of the appliances that's inside the unit itself. It's got 2 sets of keys. We got the gray key for your outside compartments, and we got a 751 key for your outside compartments. Then you also have the sliding door key on each one of the key rings. And if I'm not mistaken, there's even an extra sliding door key that they kept up front at the parts counter. All the rest of the paperwork that's in the unit is in this brown bag right here. We'll slide that back in. There is the filter for the filter canister out there. There is a set of handles here to the side. Let me come down to the bottom. Nothing in the bottom drawer. Should have a toilet paper holder in the brown bag inside there. We got a pretty good sized cabinet space off on the right hand side. Lots of extra little snacks and goodies can go in there. Then we also have the pantry. It's got a little handle hold on either side that we can slide out. A lot of little snacks can go in there.
No kidding.
Even a few cocktails if you wanted to have them in there.
Absolutely.
But it's pretty handy. It slides back out of the way. Does have magnets on all 4 corners to hold it in place. We're going to come to the refrigerator. We're going to open the door on it, and I'm going to shut it real quick. It does have a lock at the very bottom that you have to unlock before you change the temperatures. You can tell what function you want it to do. You can change your freezer setting or your refrigerator settings. I think there's 6 different settings that's on there. But first, before you do it, you have to unlock it, which is press the button for the lock, hold it in for about 3 seconds, and it should come on and off. There is instructions on the inside that tells you the same thing that I'm telling you. I think there's 6 different settings you can set it to. Do have handles up underneath the doors that you have to push up on to lock and unlock. And the ones for the freezers in the very bottom. Push down against it to open those 2 up. Pretty good sized freezer section on it too. Pretty good sized cabinet space off to the right hand side. Here again you have the slow closing cabinet doors. Close them about halfway and they go ahead and close on their own. We have another wicker basket in the center here. Placemats, paper towels, whatever you want to put in it. Does have a cabinet off to the side. It does have the second set of curtains for the patio doors. The 2 white curtains on either side. It does have a second set of those in the unit. So we're going to come back to the kitchen sink. Does have pretty good sized storage space underneath it for a trash can if you wanted to have a trash can under it. Cleaning supplies. We're going to come back up to the faucet. On the faucet, the right hand side of it works the faucet itself. The left hand side of it works the washer for your vegetables and your glass washer on this side over here. Found out something pretty cool about it. I really liked it. It Does have a screening tray down here in the bottom. But the button on the left hand or right hand side of the faucet is the opener for the strainer, so that you don't have to stick your hand down in the dirty water to lift it up and shut it off. Lifts and shuts itself.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
If you have the strainer over the top of it, it'll catch all your food particles in there as it goes down. We do have a soap dispenser on the right hand side. Tray for washing the vegetables. Cutting board tray. We have another little sink tray right here. Little plug that goes in it if you wanted to wash some dishes or whatever. Put you a cup or glass up over the top here. Push down on it. It does have a sprayer that comes up and washes the inside of the glass out. We're going to go back and put our cutting board back to the inside here. It does have a sprayer head that you can pull out on. You can change it from a steady stream to a spray too. Either way you want to work it. So we're going to go into the master bathroom. As we step into the master bathroom, there's 3 light switches on the wall. The very first one turns the lights above us on. The second one turns the lights around the mirror. The third one turns the fan on. It is off in the corner over here. The round connection on the outside that I told you was a fan vent to pull moisture from the inside out. Works right off of it. Unit's been winterized, so we have hot water on the left side, cold water on the right side. We do have a 110 outlet to the right side of the bathroom sink that is protected by the GFCI, which is in the bathroom up in the master bedroom. Toothbrush holders underneath that. 2 big drawers down below that. There is the toilet paper holder and the handles to put the toilet paper holder on. Pretty good sized drawer right down below for extra linens, towels. 2 shelves up on the right hand side. We have another shelf on the, I call it the door side of the unit. Comes up, clips in place for while you're doing laundry. You can set your stuff up here, whatever you want, cell phone, beverage. Does have a washer dryer prep in it. It's not prepped, it is installed. Does have 2 little handles up underneath each one of the latches on the side to let those back down in. Gives you a little closet space over here on the left hand side. Does have a seat inside the master shower. I still have to clean the antifreeze up out of it. But the shower head comes up, hooks back up here to the top. Gives you hot and cold water. Hot water on the left side, cold water on the right side. Unit has been winterized, does still have antifreeze in the toilet tank.
When you're going down the road, you want to make sure you have your travel locks in place.
Yes, you want to make sure this is locked in place so that your sliding doors just don't keep slamming back and forth. So as it comes out, it grabs the second one, pulls it out. But you're exactly right. While you're traveling down the road, you want to make sure the travel lock is clipped and pushed down. That holds the doors from slamming back and forth when you're starting and stopping. Does have another pretty good sized cabinet space up here on the top. Does have a hanger here for your clothes hangers. Hang your laundry up.
Your formals.
Your formals. I don't wear them, but...
Me either, but somebody might.
We're going to go up into the lofted area in the front, into the master bedroom. In the lofted area up here at the top, there's 2 light switches on the wall. One turns the light on the hallway on. The second one turns the 2 lights above the top mattress, which is also a king size mattress. Does have a ladder for sliding up and getting up in there. There's a hookup for a TV on the right hand side here that works off the antenna on top of the unit. And should have a USB port up there. It does have 2 woven baskets for extra little goodies to stock in the top shelf of it over there. Does have louvered windows between the kitchen and the front loft. Also has another 110 outlet and another USB port there, so that they don't have to share the USB ports or the 110 outlets. Does have a working smoke detector above our head here. Ladder stalls in out of the way for the master parents to go through the front and back.
And for travel, of course.
And for travel. And we're going to come back up here in the front.
And you have to watch your step. There's a little step here.
Steps down. Stubbed my toe on it twice already. Does have a fire escape window as soon as we walk into the master bedroom area. It is marked as an exit. It does have red handle, so it is a fire escape. We're going to have 3 light switches on the wall. The first one turns the 4 lights above us on. The second one turns the 2 lights above the headboard of the master bed for reading. And then the third one turns the decorative lighting on in behind it. Here again, we're going to come over to the master bathroom. First light switch turns the two lights above us on. Second light switch lights up the light around the mirror. We also have our GFCI outlet in the master bathroom. It is winterized, as you see, toilet antifreeze in the toilet. The toilets are single foot flushes off on the right hand side of the toilets for flushing those. We do have a square vent to bring heat up into the master bedroom here to the floor as we first walk in. And a 110 outlet beside of it. We saved the little corner pieces for the screen door. We're going to put back over the corners of the screen door when we scrap the screen door back to the top of the master bed for travel. Here again we have the second fireplace in the master bedroom. Has a red button that turns it on and off. Temperature runs it up and down. Change the color of the rocks and lighting in the bottom of the fireplace. Change the colors of the flames if you wanted to. And between 1 and 9 hours for running time on the fireplace itself in the master bedroom. Second remote turns the TV on in the master bedroom. Same way as the TV in the living room and the two lofts and the outside. They all pick up the same amount of channels. This is about 42 channels sitting in the parking lot right here. But that TV station's almost 80 miles away from here. That's a pretty good picture working off the antenna up top and the booster. It does have a side-to-side TV screen. And you can pull it out a little farther, bring it out past the cabinet. Turn it either way you want it to go. When you get ready to travel, you can push it back in. It does have a strap that comes around the TV to secure it into place. Flips into the side over here. Does have a closet space on either side of the TV area. Here again, they are the slow closing, so you only have to push them about halfway shut. They automatically shut on their own. They do have magnets that hold them in place, top and bottom, keep them from coming open. Little drawer on either side at the bottom. Big main drawer in the center. So we're going to come back up here to the very front of the unit. It does have another light switch that turns the two lights above the vanity in the front on. They are on a timer or dimmer. We do have a USB port right above it and a 110 outlet right down below it. And if you look out here just underneath the window sides on either side, there is, I call them scare lights, a little white light on the front of the unit on either side. We have another USB port over here and another 110 outlet. Pretty good sized drawers in the front vanity. Here again, they are the slow closing lids, so you only have to push them about halfway closed and they close automatically on their own, which I think that's pretty cool.
I do too.
We also have it's not really a footstool, but you can use it for a footstool right down here at the bottom. So if you want to sit there and put your makeup on, I don't put my makeup on in the morning.
And yet you look so good.
Not scary enough. But here again, we have a shelf of both each side of the master bed. There is a 110 outlet and a USB port underneath the left side of the mattress, just up underneath the bed. I'm going to go ahead and lift the mattress up. That would get a better picture of it down there.
There it is.
It is only on the left-hand side of the bed. It's not on the left and right-hand side. It's the left-hand side only. But we do have pretty good-sized storage underneath the master bed. 4 little woven baskets at the bottom for your shoes. They do have the hydraulic hinges on it, so it'll hold it up out of the way. I'm going to let it come back down. We have another Coleman Mach thermostat here on the wall that controls the air conditioner in the master bedroom only. But if you're running the air conditioners in the living room, kitchen area, it will come through the round vents in the ceilings up at the top. And you can open up both your cold air dumps on either side of the AC in here, which puts more cold air right down here on top of the mattress in the master bedroom. Either way you wanted to do it. But it only has one registered floor vent to bring heat up into the master bedroom. And it has 2 switches on the wall for the slide rooms. We have the door side slide, should be the one closest to us, so we're going to push it just to make sure, yep, it's what's coming in. And then we have the one on the off door side that brings the master bed in and out. I like to run them just a little bit farther. That way when I run them back out, it turns the flaps on the outside of the slide room seals completely back out. If you run them just a little ways, that doesn't give them time to kick back over the right way, so I'm gonna run it back in a little farther. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and run it back out. Give it 6 to 8 inches of travel. We'll give it long enough to flip the rubbers back open or shut, either way you want to go with it. And that's basically everything on your unit. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer it the best that I can. And thank you for your time.